I'm guessing it won't be 59-0 this time around. Mark Rogers TV setting you up for the big one in the Big Ten in Madison on Saturday night. The Buckeyes, number 2 in the nation, Wisconsin at number 8. Okay, let's talk about Wisconsin on offense. And we mentioned the 59-0 shellacking in the 2014 Big Ten championship game. But keep in mind, in recent years, really over the last 25 years or so, Wisconsin has played almost 500 ball against Ohio State, and 2 of the last 4 regular season meetings the Badgers have won going back to 2010. So I think the key on offense for Wisconsin is Alex Hornibrook at quarterback. We saw him a couple of starts against Michigan State, and he looked tremendous in that game. He threw the ball on time. He anticipated well. He went to the right receiver, and he threw the ball in tight spaces and really tore up the Spartan defense. Well, Michigan State may not be as good on defense as we anticipated this year. Hornibrook the next week at Michigan didn't look so sharp, and much of that had to do, of course, with the Michigan pass rush and with one of the best secondaries in the nation, talking about the Wolverines. Well, we could say the same about the Buckeyes in the secondary with the likes of Damon Webb, Malik Hooker, and also, of course, Gary Connolly for the Buckeyes. So Hornibrook is going to face an elite secondary. I believe it's the best in college football, certainly in the top 5. And also speed off the edge and Sam Hubbard. Tyquan Lewis has 4.5 tackles for loss and 3.5 sacks for the Buckeyes, and really getting the push up front against the run and also pushing the pocket. Robert Landers, big standout, breakout player for the Buckeyes in the first 5 games with 7 tackles for loss. Interesting to note that Wisconsin, the past 2 seasons, last year and for the first 5 games of 2016, is not the rushing team that we expect the Badgers to be, with the likes of Monte Ball and Melvin Gordon, James White, John Clay, those kind of guys gaining 1,500 to 2,000 yards, 2,300 for Melvin Gordon. Corey Clement, 3.9 yards per carry, and Dari Ogunbowale has only 4.2 yards per carry. 4 yards per rush in college football for a dominant top 15 program is not good enough. And considering that the Badgers are limited at the outside in terms of making big plays and at the quarterback position with a marginal quarterback, they are going to have issues scoring against Ohio State if they don't get the ground game going. And there's no signs in the last year and a half of them being able to do that against an elite defense. Ohio State is 4th in the nation in total defense. They did face the one very good offense in Oklahoma on the road in Norman. Wisconsin just 106th in total offense, 97th passing. And this is the surprising thing, because it's just total yardage, of course, 78th rushing. Okay, let's flip the script. Ohio State, the concerns against Indiana in the passing game. J.T. Barrett, a great season going into the game against the Hoosiers, hit on only 9 of 23 passes, and it wasn't for lack of pass protection. Urban Meyer talked about it during his weekly news conference that Barrett and the wide receivers just not in sync in this game. They only completed 1 pass after the first quarter. Again, 9 of 23, and Ohio State cannot be one-dimensional against one of the better defenses in college football. We're not talking about elite athletes for the most part. We're talking about, again, a typical Badger defense that's fundamentally sound, that makes the plays, can read the offense, get to the right place, and makes the tackles. Gang tackles, fundamentally sound and very tenacious, determined, will not miss many tackles either in space or in terms of gang tackling. Of course, TJ Watt, 7.5 tackles for loss already, 5.5 sacks, and also Jack Sishi, one of the best in the Big Ten in getting into the opponent's backfield and harassing the quarterback. 2 big injuries defensively for Wisconsin. Vince Beagle is out, and also Derek Tyndall, probably their best cover corner with 3 interceptions, is questionable. He had hand surgery this week. All right, Ohio State's going to run first with Mike Weber, 6.4 yards per carry. Curtis Samuel, dynamic at 8.2. I think Samuel should be talked about in the Heisman race at this point, but Ohio State, again, can't be one-dimensional. They're going to have to find a passing game against the Wisconsin Badgers. This is going to be a tough one for the Buckeyes. Wisconsin will show up, but too many playmakers on both sides of the ball for Ohio State. We're talking elite playmakers in college football versus a just very sound Wisconsin team. Buckeyes go to Madison. They eke out the win 24-17. Need to hear from you, your predictions right here on Mark Rogers TV.